Hey, do you wonder, how do I thrive in times of such amazing disruption? Well, I'm going to tell you the three things you have to do. And I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you where this comes from. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we know that if we have a clear plan, anything becomes possible. And if you can have a clear plan, a clear process to create that plan, and a way to create clarity with your partner or spouse, you can drive to amazing heights. So, to start with, the three things that you really need to focus on when it comes to massive times of disruption are: number one, do less. Sounds counterintuitive, but we'll talk about it. Number two, be intentional. And number three, think more. Whether you like it or not, knowledge is going to become a commodity. It's going to be something that can be traded easily, and AI will have, and it'll do in spades so much better than what we can. But when it comes to the creativity and the time, or the creativity and actually thinking, that's where it's going to be best. But unfortunately, we have not rewarded that over the last few hundred years in our society. We have not rewarded thinking. We've rewarded doing, and we need to start reframing that in a big way. So remember, the only three things on this planet we can leverage are time, our talent, and our treasure. Everybody always gets really excited about our treasure, meaning our money, our stuff, because, well, it's the easiest metric to track. The talent is one of those things that we can always be sharpening the saws. That's why personally I try to invest 20% of my time learning, reading, doing something more to where I'm getting a little bit smarter. But it's our time, without any question, that is our most valuable asset, because it diminishes every second. Now, I just finished a book not too long ago. It was talking about time, and it got me thinking about it. How up until about 150, 200 years ago, we lived on agrarian time. And what I mean by agrarian time is, if you had to go milk the cow, you went and milked the cow. You didn't give yourself 7.5 minutes to milk the cow, and then you didn't take a 15-minute break. You did what you did to get it done. It wasn't until we started trading time for money that we actually started to look at time in a very different way. So we started, well, we've got 40-hour weeks now. Well, that actually came out of Henry Ford and some other uptight white guys that said, geez, if we quit working these people 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, they would have enough money to buy our product, and that would actually increase the demand, so we could start doing that. So the whole construct of a 8-hour day, 5 days a week is I don't know, it's bunk. But as a Midwesterner, and I live some of the time in the Midwest, we have these Midwest martyrs who have to say, oh, how's it going? Oh, how are you working? Oh, I'm working. Oh yeah, I'm busy. We're busy all the time. But I don't know how productive we are. And that's where we end up getting really bit. We end up rewarding activity rather than output. And this is an area that I think we have to really start changing. Now, if you look at some of the greatest minds and greatest thinkers in the world, whether it be Einstein to Rockefeller to Warren Buffett to Bill Gates, to a lot of these guys invest a boatload of time, almost being hermits out in the middle of nowhere, thinking just on their own, because their output is coming up with new ideas and new concepts. So I just finished a book an article, and I'll link it, by Morgan Housel, that really sang to me, that talked about this. And it talks about the idea that we need to invest more time with this. And I think this falls in line more than ever, especially with disruption. Because I believe, and I preach this, and I have with all my clients for years, the most valuable asset we have is our time. And the more that we can maximize that, the better it is. And I think our subconscious is trying to answer all our questions all the time, but we continue to get in our own way. And to do that, to get out of our own way, we need to actually give ourselves permission and start slowing down and start really relying and cherishing the outputs we're producing, not the content and inputs that we're creating or that we're driving. So in other words, if you end up screwing around and you only work, quote unquote, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, and you think a bunch of the other times and you have that bing, that idea that pops in your head, could become highest and best use of your time. And when you think, as we roll into more and more AI, like I say, I firmly believe that most knowledge is going to start to become more of a commodity. And what you do with that knowledge and what the problems you solve and how you address it are going to be completely different. So ideally, you found some value with this. Hey, if you did, cool. Please subscribe, check it out. If you have questions, you're always welcome to reach out to us. Love to hear any feedback. And we look forward to hearing from you. Keep smiling.